Please rise for the national anthem. Years ago, when we prayed together for the first time, we stood in Great Chapel, and I prayed this prayer for you and your parents that evening. Since then, we have prayed together in many different ways for many different occasions, but today I return to our first prayer together and again ask that you attend to your parents behind you, or perhaps to a significant other who may have become like a parent to you, and pray this prayer with me. Also, as we pray on this special day, I invite you to be mindful of the schoolgirls kidnapped and missing in Nigeria. Let us join the world community in saying prayerfully, "Bring our girls home." And let us be mindful of all the children around the world who are separated from their families today, including those among us here today. Let us pray. That night, she gave a labor-laden cry, and then they held this newborn in their arms, all the charms and harms of family, now 2 decades thick with memory. All the tears and tears of childhood, skinned-up knees, and egg-shelled egos cracked with fragile fears and brilliant, shining hope. The scope of future dreams now underway. Today we give a labor-laden sigh, and with open arms and hearts, we say goodbye. And all the charms and harms of growing up, now 2 decades far too quickly gone. They sit before you here today, O God. We bid your blessing on their family. We bid your blessing on this passage rite, and give you thanks for all that's yet to be. Shalom, Salam, Namaste, Shanti, Amen.
Chairman Long, Provost Steinmetz, Mr. Ohlendorf, members of the Ohio Wesleyan faculty and staff, family and friends of our graduates, and most importantly, members of the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2014. Welcome to the glorious occasion of this commencement. Before I address the graduates, let me join all who are here today in offering words of appreciation and acknowledgement on this Mother's Day to the mothers who are among us, to the mothers who are not with us but watching via web stream, and to the mothers who no longer live among us but who continue to be at our sides each day. Happy Mother's Day. Graduates, this is your day. We gather in a setting where you last assembled 4 years ago as students about to begin the journey of college life. 4 years later, surrounded by these historic buildings dating from the century before last and shaded by a canopy of trees that have graced this campus from its founding, you join tens of thousands of individuals who proudly bear the marks of alumni of Ohio Wesleyan University. As has been the case for more than 170 years here at OWU, you have benefited from rigorous classroom instruction, significant interaction with master teachers and world-class scholars who are seated behind me today, and a host of learning experiences beyond the classroom. The graduates who preceded you have made enormous contributions to the larger society through lives of extraordinary accomplishment and through day-to-day decisions to do the right thing. Now, you take your place among them. Today, you leave Ohio Wesleyan to enter a world quite different from the world into which previous generations of graduates entered. You will live in a global society and work in a global economy. Your generation will be challenged to face complex global problems and to seek lasting solutions that will require the engagement of multiple disciplines of knowledge and a variety of ways of understanding. You will experience exponential growth in knowledge in your lifetime, and you will be shaped by technologies not yet imagined. With your Ohio Wesleyan education, you are more than ready. Here at Ohio Wesleyan, you honed the capacity for critical and analytical thinking. You developed the ability to understand complexity and nuance. You mastered the skill of persuasive writing and compelling speech. You cultivated an empathetic understanding of those whose cultures and life experiences differ from your own. You learned to work in teams of diverse people and to emerge as a leader. You developed a commitment to public service and engaged citizenship. And you built a foundation of ethical values that will provide ballast and a moral compass for the rest of your life. You are prepared for moral leadership in a global society. My Ohio Wesleyan colleagues and I thank you for the enormous impact you made on this campus. Collectively, you leave a legacy that will impact the experiences of students who follow you in the years to come. You helped Ohio Wesleyan refine and enhance its commitment to an education that connects theory to practice in a global context. Your class is the first to benefit fully from the OWU connection. More of you studied and traveled abroad than any class in history. 95 of you spent a semester enrolled away from campus. 164 of you participated in a travel learning course. You traveled to dozens of countries, including Madagascar, Micronesia, Ecuador, and Cuba, to name just a few. 78 of you received theory to practice grants, and 40 of you participated in mission trips. Most of you engaged in volunteer service. You launched the Haiti OWU initiative. You were instrumental in the development of the Ohio Wesleyan Healthy Bishop Initiative. You won accolades for success in athletic competition, including a national championship in men's soccer. You staged the world premiere of a play written by one of your professors. You were singing a mass in a monastery in Italy when a new pope was elected. You conducted significant research and presented that research at important meetings of disciplinary societies. You found your home in a diverse community and found particular benefit in knowing well your fellow students whose life experiences and personal stories are quite different from your own. You embraced course connections that allowed you to explore with faculty from across the disciplines such important global issues as how the production and consumption of food shape our bodies, our cultures, and our environment. The relationship of crime, responsibility, and punishment. The interaction of poverty, equity, and social justice. And the protection and distribution of clean water. Through the Sagan National Colloquium, you explored such diverse topics as the continent of Africa and the impact of global climate change. These, of course, are the challenges that your generation inherits. You are ready to confront them. With your experience here at OWU, you will pursue lasting solutions that enhance the quality of human life, strengthen the structures of human societies, and preserve the rich and bountiful resources of our planet. Here at Ohio Wesleyan, you experienced and helped create in new ways the power of life shared together in human community. You shared times of great joy, and you embraced one another in times of deep pain and tragic loss. Today we recall your classmate, Jacob van der Vellen, whose life ended all too soon, but whose impact will live with you forever. We remember gathering to celebrate Jake's life, as we recall numerous other times and places where we gathered over the past 4 years, sometimes in large numbers, and sometimes in the intimacy of a small group, to reflect on things that matter a great deal, or to just share the serendipitous pleasure of time together. You became part of a community that will accompany you the rest of your lives. You developed friendships that will nourish a lifetime. The diploma you receive today notes that you will live the rest of your lives with all of the benefits of a liberal education. There are very few things that give one a stronger advantage for professional accomplishment and personal fulfillment than the education you have received. Of equal importance, this education places upon your shoulders a mantle of responsibility. Today, I challenge you to accept this responsibility and to commit yourself anew to making a difference in the world. Take the challenge to address climate change and preserve our planet. Work to achieve lasting peace that ends war and violence. Seek a just world where no one is hungry. Cultivate a civil society in which differences are embraced. Engage in the polity in ways that promote shared responsibility rather than division and antagonism. Let your passion for a more just and caring society become the driving force of your life work. Be true to yourself and to the education you have received. You are ready, and I know that you will make the world a better place. Congratulations on this, your special day. It's my pleasure now to introduce the chair of the Ohio Wesleyan University Board of Trustees, Mike Long. Mike graduated from Ohio Wesleyan in 1996 and has spent his entire professional life practicing law with the Voorhees firm in Columbus. He became a trustee of Ohio Wesleyan in 1996 and for the past 4 years has served as chair of our board. Please welcome Mike Long.
Thank you, Rock. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to extend congratulations to the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2014. The trustees join me in saluting you for your many accomplishments in the classroom, your extraordinary leadership outside of the classroom, and your individual and collective commitment to making the world a better place. I am honored to be able to share commencement with you, and I wish you the best in the years ahead. Now, it is my pleasure to join Provost Chuck Steinmetz in recognizing the recipients of this year's faculty awards. The first award is the Daniel E. Anderson Award for service based on commitment to the common good. This award is given only when an individual, through a lifetime of very special service, demonstrates a principled commitment to the common good of the campus and the greater Delaware community. Dr. Steinmetz will now present the recipient of the Daniel E. Anderson Award.
The Daniel E. Anderson Award goes to Dr. Joseph Musser, Professor of English. Dr. Musser, please join me at the podium to receive your award. Sometimes decisions on awards are difficult, but not in this case. Dr. Musser is known as the super chair of the English department, the Human Faculty Handbook, an accomplished organist, but most importantly, as a leader who embodies the spirit of the liberal arts and lifetime learning. For a lifetime of service to his department, Ohio Wesleyan University, and across the nation, it is my honor to present this award to Dr. Musser.
The Bishop Herbert Welsh Award is for scholarly or artistic achievement and is given for distinguished scholarship or artistic achievement of an Ohio Wesleyan faculty member. The award is given for a distinguished body of work or for an individual accomplishment. Dr. Steinmetz will now come forward to present the recipient of the Welsh Award for scholarly or artistic achievement.
Dr. Kaplan has written extensively about modern and contemporary poetry, publishing numerous books and articles on a variety of intriguing topics. He has served as a Fulbright lecturer at the University of Liège in both 2004 and 2014, and he is currently the co-editor of the prestigious Virginia Quarterly Review. For what one of his colleagues described as scholarship that was really off the charts, I am pleased to present this award to Dr. Kaplan.
The Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award for Encouragement of Teachers was established and endowed in 1963 by the late William H. and Frances Shanklin Ryan of Sacramento, California, to identify, encourage, and honor Ohio Wesleyan faculty members with high potential as teachers. The recipient is chosen by the Faculty Personnel Committee upon recommendation by the faculty, staff, students, and alumni. Dr. Steinmetz will now present the recipient of the Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award.
I'm happy to announce that the winner of the Sherwood Dodge Shanklin Award for 2014 is Dr. Ashley Beiser, Professor of Politics and Government. Dr. Beiser, please join me at the podium. In her 6 years at Ohio Wesleyan, Dr. Beiser has developed a reputation for being a creative and dynamic teacher who partners with students in collaborative learning experiences. As one student wrote, her excitement was contagious. Her knowledge was vast as well as deep, and this created an atmosphere of guided thought and discussion. It is a pleasure to present this award to Dr. Beiser.
The Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award was established in 1962 by the New York Alumni Association to recognize outstanding Ohio Wesleyan faculty. Recipients are selected by the Faculty Personnel Committee based upon distinguished service and teaching that has made a significant contribution to the academic climate of Ohio Wesleyan. Dr. Steinmetz will now come forward to present this year's recipient of the Bishop Herbert Welch Meritorious Teaching Award.
I am happy to announce that the winner of the Welch Award for Teaching is Dr. Paula White, Professor of Education. Dr. White, please join me at the podium. Dr. White, today you are receiving an award for excellence in teaching from a faculty that excels in shaping the minds and lives of students. This is a considerable accomplishment, not easily attained, and one that should fill you with great pride. Students describe Dr. White as passionate, helpful, insightful, and of course, awesome. One of her students said of her, "Professor White has been a wonderful resource and a trustworthy friend. I have never felt so connected to a professor." It is my great pleasure to present this award to Dr. White.
The Adam Poe Medal was established in 1953, named in honor of the minister of William Street Methodist Church, who gathered signatures and financial pledges for the founding of Ohio Wesleyan. The Adam Poe Medal is presented to OWU faculty members and administrators in recognition of long and valued service to the university at the time of their retirement. A personalized biography of each recipient is included in your commencement program. Dr. Ramon Carino, in recognition of his 30 years of service, would you please present Professor Edward Burt, Professor of Zoology, for the Adam Poe Medal. Dr. Martin Hipsky, in recognition of his 37 years of service, will you please present Dr. Joseph Musser, Professor of English, for the Adam Poe Medal. We also recognize a third retiring member of our faculty, Dr. David Hickox, Professor of Geography. He is not on the platform because he is where he is every year at this time. He is a meteorologist. He is in his office monitoring the weather just in case. But Dr. Hickox, thank you. Before our seniors receive their well-deserved diplomas, we will hear a few words of advice and inspiration from our keynote speaker. Ohio Wesleyan has provided today's graduates with a life-changing experience. The same is true, but in a very different way, for today's commencement speaker. In fact, for him and his family, you could say that Ohio Wesleyan was part of a life-saving experience. In 1938, when he was a small child, Stephen Ollendorf and his parents fled Nazi Germany and came to the United States. Though Stephen and his parents survived, his father's entire family was lost to the violence of the Holocaust. I will let Stephen tell you the rest of the story and of how Ohio Wesleyan and OU sociology professor Guy Sarvis and his wife Maud became a part of the Ollendorf story. It is an incredible story of overcoming adversity, achieving personal success, and giving back to build a more tolerant, understanding, and caring world. At Ohio Wesleyan, our highest purpose is to help young women and men like these graduates become moral leaders in a global society. That drive is embedded deeply in Ohio Wesleyan's DNA. Graduates in Stephen Ollendorf, you have before you the epitome of such a moral leader. Stephen Ollendorf earned his Bachelor of Arts degree at Columbia University and his Juris Doctor at Columbia Law School. He then became, and is today, associated as an attorney with K&L Gates LLP, a U.S.-based firm with more than 2,000 lawyers and 48 offices on 5 continents. Stephen has served as a director of 7 public companies, as the CEO of a public business development company, and as the president of 3 charitable organizations, including the Center for Interreligious Understanding that he formed. Indeed, Stephen says his proudest accomplishments are the various charitable initiatives that he has led. Chief among those initiatives, in 2000, Stephen and his wife Bjorg founded the Ollendorf Center for Human and Religious Understanding. The principal mission of the Ollendorf Center is to increase awareness of the fundamental issues facing the Jewish people through a series of educational programs, documentaries, national conferences, and global outreach programs. One of the center's documentaries won the first International Peace Award at the Venice Film Festival, and another award earned an Emmy Award for NBC. Last June, Stephen recognized the role that Ohio Wesleyan and Professor Sarvis played in his family's destiny, and the Ollendorf Center contributed $100,000 to Ohio Wesleyan to create the Dr. Guy Sarvis Endowed Travel Research Grant. This grant supports cross-cultural understanding and tolerance. At the same time, Ohio Wesleyan created the Dr. Guy Sarvis Award. The award will be given annually to a student who has fostered cross-cultural understanding and contributed to the creation of a culture of hospitality and inclusion at Ohio Wesleyan. With Stephen Ollendorf's example, his vision, and his gift to the university, he is ensuring that Ohio Wesleyan will continue to develop and recognize future generations of moral leaders for our global society. It is a pleasure and a great honor for me to introduce a dear friend of Ohio Wesleyan and a leader who exemplifies the true spirit of our university, Stephen Ollendorf.
Well, I don't know how to follow that, but before I start my prepared remarks, I just want to tell you that my wife and I enjoyed 3 wonderful days here. We were very touched by your hospitality and warmth. And to the 2014 graduates, I congratulate you for graduating in a university that is very unique and very special. I feel very honored here to speak to you. Yet I am mindful of the quote from the American comic George Jessel. The human brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working as soon as you are born and never stops until you get up to give a speech. Recognizing that each generation may be faced with events and circumstances which are different and often beyond its control, I thought I would describe to you how my family faced the challenges and opportunities they encountered. Hopefully, the decisions they made may relate to you in your decision-making process in these very different, exciting, but uncertain times. My life started with a series of events which affected my thinking for the rest of my life. I was born in July 1938 in Berlin, Germany. On November 9th and 10th of that year, the Nazis, in one of the most important turning points in their anti-Semitic policies, burned 276 synagogues and 750 Jewish businesses. It was known as Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass. As fate would have had it, the night before Kristallnacht, my parents' landlord had warned them that the Nazis were going to raid our apartment. So we immediately moved that night to my maternal grandparents' apartment a few miles away. The morning after Kristallnacht would be a dramatic change in the life of our family. My grandfather was arrested at 10 a.m. that morning by the Nazis. My parents and I were not at the apartment because at my grandmother's urging, we were applying for a temporary visa to England at the British consulate. By sheer good fortune, my father had a letter from a family friend inviting us to visit him in England. The British consulate, by virtue of Kristallnacht, granted us a visa to leave for England that day. We miraculously obtained plane tickets for us to fly to England at 2 o'clock that very afternoon. So that night we arrived in England. My grandfather, after his arrest, was sent to Sachsenhausen concentration camp. My grandmother obtained his release 1 month later after she, at great personal peril, went straight to the highest Nazi official at Gestapo headquarters. My maternal grandparents then immigrated to South America and eventually settled in New York after the war. Through their efforts, all 4 of their children and their families were able to escape from Germany. The entire maternal side of my family survived the Holocaust. On the other hand, the paternal side of my family was not that fortunate. My paternal grandparents lived in Breslau, Germany. They decided to stay. My paternal grandfather, a colonel in the army, German army during World War I, was assured of the army's protection. However, when he suddenly died in 1942, the Nazis immediately arrested my paternal grandmother and her sister. They were sent to Theresienstadt concentration camp, where they both died shortly thereafter. My father's brother had joined the underground and was killed trying to escape Mauthausen concentration camp. His other brother was killed by the Nazis. On the paternal side of my family, no one survived World War II except my father. My parents and I arrived in America in February of 1939. My father, who had been an ophthalmologist in Germany, had to learn the English language and study for the medical boards in New York. Because of a lack of funds, my mother and I moved to Delaware, Ohio, at the invitation of Professor Guy Sarvis and his wife, Maud. By now, you must surely know Professor Sarvis taught at Ohio Wesleyan. My mother and I lived with the Sarvises for a year. To admit a Jewish family in their home and to be actively protecting the civil rights of minorities, given the times, demonstrated the commitment of Professor Sarvis and his wife to justice and social equality. After 1 year, my mother and I reunited with my father in New York after he obtained his medical license. Growing up in the 50s and 60s, in many ways for me, was a time of uncertainty and discrimination. Although in America, our lives were no longer in danger, discrimination against Jews manifested itself in very specific ways. Most elite social clubs, golf clubs, fraternities, and sororities routinely excluded Jews as a matter of overt policies. Jews were limited in their occupational opportunities, including holding senior executive positions in major corporations. The Columbia Eye Institute excluded my father from operating privileges because it excluded Jewish doctors as a matter of policy. This was despite the fact that my father had one of the largest ophthalmic practices in New York City. As I was growing up, my father made it clear that I should become a doctor because it is the one universal profession I could continue to practice if we ever had to leave America. That was not considered unthinkable at the time. And even recently, my first cousin had to immigrate to the United States from Venezuela because of religious intolerance. I enrolled at Columbia College as a pre-med student, but I never felt comfortable with the thought of becoming a doctor. Thankfully, I failed physics in the first semester of my sophomore year. I remember my physics professor saying he could have given me a D, but he thought he would be doing me a disservice in the long run. That was certainly consistent with the advice of the famous basketball coach, John Wooden. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. I duly called my father and told him I was switching to law. I ended up graduating from Columbia College and Columbia Law School. Finding a job in New York City in those days was exceedingly difficult. I had a pretty clear view of the type of lawyer I wanted to be. In the 60s, if you were employed by a Wall Street law firm, and none had more than 100 lawyers in those days, you worked 6 days a week and were completely discouraged from developing your own client base or developing time to any other economic opportunities. Your hope was to become a partner in 7 or 8 years and become an interchangeable part of a legal enterprise. Fortunately, I knew this was not the type of law I wanted to practice. As so eloquently stated by Ben Stein, the indispensable first steps to getting things you want out of life is this: decide what you want. I decided I want to be the type of lawyer who could attract clients, who could be involved in all types of entrepreneurial activities, and who would become involved in the community. But most of all, I valued my freedom. The freedom to wake up every morning and decide what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. The freedom not to be accountable for my work schedule every single day. And importantly, the freedom to be true to myself. Luckily, I had wonderful role models and law firms like Hale Gates helped me fulfill my dreams. As Branch Rickey said, luck is the residue of design. There are 2 events that dramatically changed my life. The first occurred while jogging one evening over 30 years ago, when I decided that I would commit a certain amount of my earnings to charity. Under that commitment, the more I earned, the more I would give in both amounts and percentages. The second event occurred when I read a deeply moving farewell letter that my father's mother wrote to him on her way to Theresienstadt concentration camp. My father saw the letter for the first time and received it over 40 years later at the age of 79. It arrived in the mail at his home in Englewood, New Jersey, from an unknown source in South America. This farewell letter had a profound impact on me because of its contents. My grandmother wrote it with an unrestricted love and an unimaginable dignity and grace in the face of a certain impending death, and because of the extraordinary circumstances under which my father had received the letter. The Ollendorf Center later published the letter in a book with the help of Jakob Sedler, a prominent documentary maker, and produced a documentary both entitled Fate Did Not Let Me Go. The documentary was narrated by Martin Sheen and Lee Vullman. It has been shown all over the world for the past several years, including on 162 PBS stations. Just this January, on Holocaust Memorial Day, it has reportedly been seen by close to 20 million people in 15 European and Asian countries. It'll be shown this summer in Theresienstadt concentration camp where my grandmother and her sister died. Mr. Sedlman and I have since collaborated on several more documentaries. In September, we will be producing our first full-length movie. I am also one of the principal screenwriters. A new career? Believe me, dreams can come true at any age. Having a pool of funds available because of my charitable commitment, I was able to undertake charitable activities that I may not have committed to otherwise. Here are some examples. The very same Columbia Eye Institute that denied my father operating privileges now has the annual Dr. Ulrich Ohlendorf Lectureship Series. Each year, the chairman of the department, before introducing a prominent guest lecturer, acknowledges, to the amazement of the medical students, that the Institute once had a policy of excluding Jewish doctors. To me, both as a son and as an alumnus, the annual recognition of this discriminatory policy and the willingness to honor my father is a source of great satisfaction. In addition, our family has funded the Ohlendorf Diagnostic Center at the Eye Institute in my father's memory. The Ohlendorf Center is also producing a motion picture, The Diary of Anne Frank, which was written by a young Jewish girl during World War II. It will be in Arabic and played by Israeli and Palestinian actors. It will be primarily distributed in the Arab countries. To my amazement, while the movie was being made, I received an email from a total stranger in Holland. He had sent me a picture of my father's brother, my Uncle Gerhard. I had never seen his picture before. The emailer had discovered it in one of the archives. The emailer also mentioned that Gerhard had been in the home of Anne Frank. Coincidence? The establishment of the Professor Sarvis Travel and Research Grant is also a memorable story unto itself. While talking to three women from Ohio while on tour with my wife and me in Thailand, I mentioned how deeply I admired Professor Sarvis. One of the women asked me which university he was connected to. I responded, Ohio Wesleyan. One of the women, Pam Long, responded by saying, my husband Michael is the chairman of the board. Coincidence? These events reinforced my belief in Dr. Albert Einstein's quote, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. Shortly thereafter, at the invitation of Professor Jones, I met with him in Colleen Garland in New York. I am proud to say that Ohio Wesleyan, after reviewing the career and accomplishments of Professor Sarvis, embraced his ideals by sponsoring the Professor Sarvis Travel and Research Grant. My grandmother's farewell letter also committed me to the cause of never letting Adolf Hitler win the war against Jews as a result of indifference and ignorance. As a part of that project, the Center of Interreligious Understanding, of which I served as president, we placed large Holocaust menorahs all over the world, in universities and major cities in Europe and in churches of various denominations. Each year, these menorahs are lit to commemorate the Holocaust. We also give a smaller version of the menorah on a very limited basis to deserving people and institutions. I was extremely proud to present Pope John Paul II with one of these menorahs. So today, it is only fitting that the Ohlendorf Center honor Professor Sarvis for presenting this Holocaust menorah to Ohio Wesleyan. The 6 figures on the Star of David represent the 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who died on the Holocaust. Imagine how many fewer figures there would be if there were more Professor Sarvises in the world. Before my grandchildren present President Jones with the menorah, I'd like to leave each of you with these thoughts. First, It is important to define your goals, for not only will they largely determine your opportunities, but they will also guide you in your decision-making process. Second, be ready to initiate, pursue, and seize the moment of opportunity, even if it appears in the most unlikely of times or circumstances. Third, try to live your life as you choose to live it, knowing your strengths and weaknesses while recognizing that certain circumstances may be beyond your control. And lastly, by no means least, lead an ethical life, which will help nurture the spark of the divine, which I believe is in each of us.
Stephen, what can we say? We are honored by your presence today. We are honored by the remarks that you have shared, the story of your life, and the challenge that that story presents to each of us. And we are deeply honored by the gift of the menorah, which will be valued and treasured by this institution. Stephen and Bjorg were with us for baccalaureate last night, and as we were leaving Gray Chapel, he commented on the reflection that baccalaureate provided of an institution that is so deeply committed to the values that he recognized so well and for so long in the life of Dr. Sarvis. Stephen, thank you very much. Now, as we recognize the achievements of the Ohio Wesleyan class of 2014, I call on Ms. Shelley McMahon, University Registrar, to present the candidates for degrees in course.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and Board of Trustees of the University, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Ms. McMahon will present the individual candidates as they come forward to receive their diplomas.
Hannah Price Applebaum. Chaylin Michelle Brown, cum laude. Jae Min Jung, cum laude. Ha Thu Lei, cum laude. Nok Bik Lei. Madeline Kara Mavek. Alex James Mitchner, cum laude. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Madeline Mavek, magna cum laude. Sonia Edith Peterman, cum laude. Katasha Jeannie Ross, magna cum laude. Susanna Marie Stevens. Tyler D. Travis. Melissa Ann Ward, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Irene Warner, magna cum laude. Matthew Cole Wasserman. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Music please rise? On behalf of the faculty and Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Music.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Music with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will please come forward as their names are read.
Joshua David Boggs. Rebecca Janae Marie Larkin, magna cum laude. Rachel Lauren Parfinchuk, magna cum laude. Corey Ellis Holton. Candace Olutoyosi Rembert. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? On behalf of the faculty and the Board of Trustees of the university, I have the honor to present these candidates as duly qualified to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. The candidates will please come forward as their names are read.
Naomi Abigail Abrams. Allison Ofuia Sokia Ada. Jordan Alexander. Marissa Christine Alfano, summa cum laude. Timothy Paul Alford, magna cum laude. Mohammed Al-Isa, cum laude. Shelby Lene Alston. Jacqueline Rose Amana. Carly Jane Amstadt, summa cum laude. Nora Margaret Anderson. Sean David Anthony. Christopher Matthew Badenhop. Marilyn Ann Bear. Caitlin Elizabeth Bailey. Henry Christopher Bailey. Brianna Lee Barnes, magna cum laude. Hayden Corinne Barnes. Hazel Barrera. Tatiana Lynn Berry, summa cum laude. Jacob Wilson Beach. Sarah Michelle Bechtel, cum laude. Jacob D. Becker, cum laude. Melody Jane Beeman Black. Haley Lynn Bethel. John Charles Bienick, cum laude. Alexandra N. Bigham. Caroline Dora Block Wilkins. Caitlin Marie Joyce Bob. Jonathan R. Bocanegra. Jason Robert Bogdani, magna cum laude. Lauren Michelle Wasseau. Brian Wallace Bowling. Kelsey Alexandra Brewer. Glen Alexander Briggs IV. Corinna A. Briggs. Lauren Elizabeth Bross. Roland A. Brown. Maxwell George Brooke. Erica Lynn Bryan. Paolo Vincent Bucci. Brianne Jarrett Boditis, magna cum laude. Maya Justine Buing, cum laude. Cameron Benjamin Berger. Megan Jessie Vise. Amber Carolyn Collinmord. Kay Henley Cantwell. Tyler H. Carney DeBoard. Alyssa Ruth Carruthers, summa cum laude. Amanda Kathleen Caserta. Shannon Marie Caskey, cum laude. Kelsey Elizabeth Seligan. James Cooper Serto. Emmy Lynn Chin, cum laude. Stephanie Nicole Childers, magna cum laude. Caitlin Lucille Clark. We're going to take a little pause there and let some traffic move out. Malcolm Jordan Clark. Martin Christopher Clark. Rebecca Elizabeth Smar, magna cum laude. Adam Jesse Coles. Aaron Colmenares. Ayana Cheyenne Colvin. Haley Nicole Cook. William Michael Cooper. Michael Richard Cormier. Stephen William Coyne. Eleanor Day Cree. In absentia. Sophie Elizabeth Crispin. Tasha Cruz, in absentia. Jenna Erin Colina. Patrick Donald Cummings. Andrew James Degnall. Alexander Martin Deomore Braver. Tyler James Dash, cum laude. Elisa Ann DeRobertis. Cara Marie De Angelis. Sanwal Dean. Christopher E. Demix. Nicole Marie Chantal Diansumba. Andrew Frank Deal. Gabrielle May Dinkin. Matthew C. Dodrell. Janae Catherine Dominguez, cum laude. Vincent Anthony D'Onofrio. Lauren Schuyler Drake, summa cum laude. Natalie Judith DeLiba, magna cum laude. Jija Dutt. Jenna Catherine Dworetsky. Jacob Luke Eckerd. Caitlin E. Eckert. Jacob Carlisle Eganhouse, in absentia. Nicholas William Ellers. Lauren Kimberly Ellis. Jennifer Marie Eltringham, magna cum laude. Jennifer Marie Erickson, cum laude. Marissa Rose Esper, magna cum laude. Mason Daniel Espinosa, cum laude. Caitlin Marie Fain. Allison Ann Falk. Eleanor O'Reilly Feely. Daniel Robert Firehammer. Anthony Arthur Fisher. Lauren Leona Faye Foote. Stephen Matthew Ford. Zachary Keaton Ford. Holly Elizabeth Fouch. Cassandra Lee Fowler. Hillary Lane Fowler, cum laude. Corey Faye Frazier. Warren Perry Freed III. Jennifer Marie Fry. Anne Fiorenza Frisora. Laurel Danielle Fuller. Mariah Elizabeth Gacy.
Olivia Nicole Gillison, cum laude. Leonard Anthony Gleaves. Christy Diane Gogenauer, summa cum laude. Jordan Alexander Grammer. Tiffany Erin Green. Margaret Ellen Graff, summa cum laude. Alyssa Nicole Margaret Gregory. Erin Lauren Gregory. Lauren Elizabeth Gria. Julia Lynn Grimsley. Nora Ruth Gumanow, cum laude. Melissa Dorothy Guziak, cum laude. Claire Boland Hackett, cum laude. Danielle Lynn Haley. Norasha Marquette Hall. Jessica Ruthann Halsey. Juliette Ann Harrison. Sarah Claire Hartsonnen, magna cum laude. Annalise Gabrielle Harvey. Hadia Hassan Zubairi. Amanda Michelle Hatfield. Sana Hasrichi. Scarlett He, magna cum laude. Sammy Gabrielle Heffron. Mary Catherine Helfrich. Casey Tyler Helms. Christopher Henchy. Nathan Paul Hennessy. Elizabeth Ann Herder. Frida Emily Hess. Ariel Sarah Hirsch. Leah Rachel Hively, cum laude. Gregory Joseph Hock, cum laude. Joshua Robert Hooper. Margaret Frances Horner. Emily Therese Hausstetzler. Ethan J. Hovest. Shinyata Patrice Hutchinson. Miriam E. Bork. Roger Bradley Ingalls. Peter Newton Jacoby. Alexander John Jacobs. Maria Jaffrey. Matthew Alexander Jameson, summa cum laude. Sarah Rose John Tosh. Sarah Catherine Gilbert, cum laude. Tabitha Ann Johnson. Catherine J. Johnson, cum laude. Nola Chanel Johnson. Brianna Lynn Johnston. Antoinette Marie Jolliffe. Christopher Taylor Jones. Travis Eric Jones. Daniel Jeffrey Kaplan. Richard William Carbon. Erica Jean Kazi, cum laude. Mackenzie Clarion Kefalos. Caitlin Elizabeth Kelly. Alexandra Julian Korinsky. Sarah Keys. Hussein Anwar Khan. Mohammed Daniel Khan. Sophie Helen Poniatowski Kendall. Michaela J. Kim. Michaela J. Kim. Amber Nicole Kimberling, cum laude. Kelsey Louise King, cum laude. Alexandra Noriko Kirchberg. Ryan Klein. Katarina Klemensikova. Emily Jeanette Knapp. Margaret Eileen Connect. Max Henry Kerner. In abstention. Ariel Sherul Koimor. Andrew Joseph Komara. Zoe Bethany Kramer. Caitlin Quivila. Ore Ladpour. Kirsten Grace Lambert. Anthony Paul Lamoureux. Madeline Mary Lank, magna cum laude. Jack Vernon Lawson. Dong Zwang Twile, magna cum laude. Madeleine Rochelle Leader, cum laude. Haley Renee Lieber, magna cum laude. Jae Ho Lee. Amy Christine Lafave. Krista April Lahaka. Emily Marguerite Letourneau. Benjamin G. Letson, cum laude. Kate Louise Lewis Lakin, summa cum laude. Catherine Crane Lippitz. Christopher Joseph Litzler, summa cum laude. Thomas Wayne Levosh, cum laude. Tamara Lynn Lindot. Jason Clell Loneman. Ashley Vanessa Madeira, cum laude. Kelly Ann Mayer, cum laude. Natalie Lynn Mangine, magna cum laude. Bethany Nicole Mann, cum laude. Aaron James Manning. Caroline Wilson Marini. Brandon Corey Marker. Jessica Elaine Martin, summa cum laude. Kevin George Martin. Stephanie Marie Martineau. Alexander John Mather. John J. Masley. Ian Burns McCaslin, cum laude. Spencer McClade. Margaret Lethko Medeiros. Allison Gwen Michael, cum laude. Madeline Alyssa Crane Miguel. Addison Vernon Paul Miller, cum laude. Bethany Jane Miller, cum laude. Jacob C. Miller, cum laude. Charles Gonyu Mitchell. Jennifer Christine Morris, cum laude. Lucky Mosola. Kayla Diane Moxley. Cora Jane Monroe, cum laude. Alyssa Pebble Namavong. Caitlin Marie Nance. An abstention. George James Newcomb. Thomas Penfield Newman. Nam Zam Nguyen, summa cum laude. Ni T. Nguyen, magna cum laude. Tam T. Nguyen, magna cum laude. Mary Martha Nyland.
Erica Cody Nininger. Guion Ray, no. Ian Zachary O'Keefe. Timothy Michael O'Keefe, Jr. Paul Joseph O'Laughlin. Jenna Elise Ortega. Michael Patrick Otten. Thomas Henry Teakin Owings, magna cum laude. Andrew Paik, summa cum laude. Erin Elizabeth Parcells. Elisa Joy Pastor. Krina Patel. Kenda Cosette Patterson. Cameron Wesley Pavey. Cody Addison Pierce. Anthony Michael Peddle. Adrian Joseph Pekarchik, cum laude. Emily Sarah Perry. Yuki Fawn, magna cum laude. Catherine Kinnery Pickens. Megan Lauren Pinto, magna cum laude. Colton Allen Ponzak. Marissa Catherine Popek. Dylan Mouget Porter. Brandon David Proctor. Sar Rajpuria. Ara Ramesh, cum laude. Samantha Kathleen Ramaha. Amelia Bass Randall. Jenna Elaine Rieger, summa cum laude. Cody Richard Rinsel, cum laude. Pedro Ravedes. Janet Ann Raymond, magna cum laude. Maxwell Carl Richards. Jamie Taylor Richardson. Elizabeth Christine Riggio, cum laude. Jennifer Mary Smith Ripper. Race Brandon Risser. Taylor Rivkin. Ruel Jerome Rogers. Kevin J. Rude. Mark Rubio. Usman Saad. Erica Nicole Sachs. Lauren Elizabeth Silestro. Emily B. Sattler. Spencer Wood Schnell. Luke Schwan, cum laude. Richard Arthur Scotton, cum laude. Justin Zachary Siegel. Matthew Scott Shadone. Brihat Sharma. Patrick L.A. Shea, magna cum laude. Brittany Eileen Shellhorn. Edward William Shipitalo, cum laude. Anne Gardner Shoemaker, cum laude. Samantha Simon. Okay. Karn Singh in absentia. Sunhat Sirikisong in absentia. Sarah Diane Slager, cum laude. Kara Ann Davis Slotkin. Casey Lynn Smiley, cum laude. Derek McLaren Smith. Madison Smith. Taylor Oliver Neely Smith. Zachary Brian Smith. Jennifer Laurel Salmon. Samuel Benedict Sanega. Catherine Ann Sponseller, magna cum laude. Jacob David Stang. Alex Michael Stanton. Sarah Elizabeth Starzik. Jonathan Patrick Stegner, cum laude. Robin Steiner Malumphy in absentia. Emily Christine Stewart. Nicole Lee Steinmetz. Catherine Neva Stone. Michelle Lynn Storms, magna cum laude. Taylor Mullen Stout. Kelly Marie Strick, summa cum laude. Rebecca Shane Suffren. Seth David Swery. Caitlin Scarlett Swigard, cum laude. Jessica Nicole Talbert. Rachel Lynn Talmadge, cum laude. Ashley L. Taylor. Emily Catherine Temple. Rachel George Thomas. Carolyn Frances Thompson, summa cum laude. Shelby Paige McGregor. Thompson. Shelby Paige McGregor Thompson. Zandria Gabrielle Titus. Martin William Tobias. Stephanie Lois Toole, cum laude. Viet Tran, summa cum laude. Kelsey Aaron Ullum. Jonathan Ray Valentine. Yadrima Valenzuela. Priyanka Venkataraman. Nicholas J. Vio. Rachel Lynn Vinciguerra, summa cum laude. Austin Henry Vinny, magna cum laude. Prabhat Crower Verk. Gabriela Teresa Vizcayano, cum laude. Sean Michael Vollenweider. Manur Khan Wali, summa cum laude. Grace Hurd Wallace. Jennifer Nicole Wallace, cum laude. Hannah Lee Walls, cum laude. Samantha Ann Walter. Catherine Elizabeth Watson. Genevieve Rosemary Watts. Laura Ketchum Weishadel. Sarah Elizabeth Wells, summa cum laude. Christina Ruth Westney. Dre Renell White. Haley Renee Winslow, magna cum laude. Benjamin Michael Witkoff, cum laude. Sarah Murphy Wodenschek. Teresa Elizabeth Wolfgang. William Gus Wood. Deanna Wu. Jared S. Yee, cum laude. Hannah Elise Zacharias. Julia Zach. Jack Thomas Zandy. Honkai Eddie Zhao, magna cum laude. Nazar Zadan, cum laude. And last but not least, Yui Zhuo.
We recognize those who are graduating with Latin honors. Will all students graduating cum laude please rise? Will all students graduating magna cum laude please rise? And will all students graduating summa cum laude please rise? Four members of this year's graduating class completed their academic careers at Ohio Wesleyan with the remarkable grade point average of 4.0. We'd like to ask these students to please stand so we can recognize you for your outstanding academic performance. Carly Amstadt, Alyssa Carruthers, Jessica Martin, and Carolyn or Carrie Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ohio Wesleyan graduating class of 2014. It is customary at Ohio Wesleyan that the president of the senior class offers remarks and an expression of gratitude on behalf of the class. I'm proud now to present one of Ohio Wesleyan's newest alumni, senior class president, Anthony Peddle.
Thank you. Before I begin my formal remarks today, I would like to take a personal moment to thank everyone who assisted and supported me after Saturday's incident. The outpouring of love and support that I received reminds me of why I am proud to be a part of the Ohio Wesleyan community, today and always. Thank you. As you can see, I'm doing well, and I am looking forward to celebrating this wonderful day with all of you. And now for the reason we're all here. Friends, family, faculty, staff, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rock Jones, Mr. Stephen Ohlendorf, and most importantly, the Ohio Wesleyan University class of 2014. We did it. We're here. Just 4 years ago, we celebrated graduating high school and moving on to college, a whole different world for most of us. And for many of us, the first time being away from our families. Today, we observe the culmination of our undergraduate experience, with many of us moving on into careers and some to graduate school. But the support and love of our families continue to drive our successes. Notably, today we also celebrate Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day. I love you, Mom. Likewise, fathers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and friends have played prominent roles in our successes. Today, we celebrate you, too. Our 4 years at Ohio Wesleyan have brought many challenges, triumphs, trials, and tribulations, but nonetheless, we have remained strong as battling bishops. We spent 4 years discovering who we are, and today we stand here, breathless against the world, nervous and excited, all at the same time. We have eagerly awaited this moment since entering our freshman orientation experience just 4 short years ago. The opportunity we are afforded while at Ohio Wesleyan is astounding. We stand poised and ready to take on the world, not an unemployed, violent, or intolerant world, but the world of our dreams, the world we get to shape and create. We stand equipped with a liberal arts education, more life experiences than many of our peers, and quite frankly, more stamps in our passports than we could ever dream. We are global leaders. We are lifelong learners. We are OWU. As I reflected on my 4 years here, I thought about many memories and friendships. The community we have experienced spans farther and wider than just this campus. Like our educations, OWU is constantly expanding. The Stuyvesant Hall renovation, the fountain, or JAFE as many of us have come to call it, the library renovations, the renovation of the Jaywalk as a whole, the food court renovation, and as we celebrated last summer, the upcoming renovation of Merrick Hall. These renovations were all key markers in the lifetime of Ohio Wesleyan University. While our class has made our own marks on the roadmap of Ohio Wesleyan. During our 4 years at OWU, we celebrated national champions and leaders in the classroom, laboratory, on the athletic field, and on stage. Our legacy will remain long after today. The class of 2014 has made a lasting impact on the hearts of professors and staff and the framework of Ohio Wesleyan University. As we stand poised to take on the challenges that lie ahead, we also hide our fears and insecurities under these mortarboards. It's going to be tough. We all know that. But the education, optimism, and confidence we're also hiding under these same mortarboards show us the value of a liberal arts education. I think Ellen said it best. Follow your passion. Stay true to yourself. Never follow someone else's path, unless you're in the woods and you're lost and then you see a path, and by all means, you should follow that. Let's write our own history. Let's do something memorable. We have 4 years behind us and a lifetime ahead of us. As Bono said in 2005, your degree is a blunt instrument. Build something bold with it. So, let's hit it. Congratulations, class of 2014.
Thank you, Anthony, for your leadership and for your words on this occasion. And now, members of the class of 2014, if here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found peace, go and share it with others. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have found some portion of the truth, go and seek it all the more. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have dreamed dreams, help one another, and those dreams may come true. If here at Ohio Wesleyan you have known love, give something back to a bruised and hurting world. May you, the Ohio Wesleyan graduates of 2014, be as proud of yourselves and your accomplishments as we are of you. And now, as the newest alumni of the university, I invite you and all present to stand and join in singing the alma mater. As the ceremony comes to a close, I ask the audience to be seated until the recessional is complete, and you may reunite with your graduates adjacent to University Hall following the recessional. This is the historic bell first used to convene classes at Ohio Wesleyan more than 170 years ago. It is an OWU tradition. It is a way to symbolically remind ourselves of our connection to more than 17 decades of life in this academic community. It is rung at the opening of each academic year and at the close of each academic year, though the word rung should be taken with a grain of salt. You will hear it clank. So it is with joy that I now declare the 2013-2014 academic year formally concluded. Congratulations, Ohio Wesleyan class of 2014.
3 or back to